The air conditioning was ice cold 5 minutes ago. Now the vent air feels like a hairdryer. The cabin temperature climbs, and the only thing still working is the fan blowing warm air at your face. That sudden failure usually comes from one of 4 very different problems. The compressor never got power, the system lost enough refrigerant to shut itself down, the compressor failed mechanically, or a sensor or control module is lying to the car's computer. Those can all feel identical from the driver's seat. A mechanic separates them by asking one question first. Did the system stop moving refrigerant, or did the car decide not to turn the system on? The first suspect is electrical. That means the air conditioning parts may be healthy, but power is not reaching them. A fuse, relay, wire, clutch coil, or command signal has dropped out. A fuse is a small protective link that burns open when too much current flows. A relay is an electrically controlled switch. The cabin button or computer asks for air conditioning, and the relay sends higher current to the compressor circuit. This kind of fault can make the system stop instantly, even though the refrigerant side is still physically intact. The second suspect is refrigerant loss. Refrigerant is the chemical fluid inside the sealed air conditioning system. It changes pressure and temperature to carry heat out of the cabin. If enough refrigerant leaks out, many cars shut the compressor off to protect it. The third suspect is compressor failure. The compressor is the pump of the system. It squeezes low-pressure refrigerant into high-pressure refrigerant so heat can be dumped outside the car. The fourth suspect is a sensor or control fault. The system may be full, and the compressor may be capable, but a pressure sensor, temperature sensor, climate control unit, or engine computer may block operation because the data looks unsafe. A car air conditioning system does not create cold, it moves heat. Inside the dashboard is the evaporator, a small radiator-like heat exchanger. Cabin air passes across it, heat leaves the air, and colder air comes out of the vents. The refrigerant leaving the evaporator is a low-pressure vapor. The compressor pulls it in and compresses it. Compressing it raises pressure and temperature. That hot, high-pressure refrigerant flows toward the front of the car, where the system gets ready to throw cabin heat into the outside air. The hot, high-pressure refrigerant flows to the condenser. The condenser is the heat exchanger at the front of the car, usually near the radiator. Outside air passes through it, and the refrigerant dumps heat to the air. After that, the refrigerant passes through an expansion valve or orifice tube. An expansion valve is a metering device, like a controlled restriction, that drops refrigerant pressure before it enters the evaporator. An orifice tube does a similar job with a fixed size restriction. When pressure drops, the refrigerant becomes cold enough to absorb heat from the cabin again. That cycle repeats over and over. On many cars, the compressor does not run all the time. It is engaged by a compressor clutch. The compressor clutch is an electromagnetic coupling on the front of the compressor. When power is sent to it, it magnetically locks the compressor pulley to the compressor shaft and the pump starts working. When power is removed, the pulley may still spin with the belt, but the compressor itself is not pumping. That is why the first visual check matters. If the pulley spins but the clutch plate never pulls in, the air conditioning request is not becoming compressor operation. An electrical fault can make the air conditioning stop instantly because the compressor clutch depends on a clean power path. The driver may notice warm air with no change in engine load when air conditioning is selected. On older clutch-style systems, there may be no click from under the hood. The radiator fans may not change speed. The air conditioning light may still turn on because the button is only a request, not proof that the compressor received power. This is the trap. The dashboard can look normal while the compressor circuit is completely dead. A blown fuse can interrupt the circuit. A bad relay can fail internally even though the fuse is fine. A broken wire or corroded connector can stop voltage from reaching the clutch coil. The clutch coil is the electromagnet that pulls the clutch plate in. If that coil opens internally, the car can command air conditioning, but the compressor still never engages. A mechanic usually checks this path in layers. First, is the air conditioning command being requested? Then, is the fuse intact? Is the relay being commanded? Is voltage reaching the compressor clutch? If voltage reaches the clutch and the clutch still does not pull in, the clutch coil or compressor clutch assembly becomes suspicious. Refrigerant loss often feels sudden even when the leak has been happening slowly. The air conditioning can cool normally until pressure falls below a safe threshold. Then the low-pressure cutoff switch may stop the compressor. A low-pressure cutoff switch is a safety switch that prevents the compressor from running when refrigerant pressure is too low. That matters because refrigerant also carries oil through many air conditioning systems. If pressure is too low, the compressor may not get proper oil circulation. The driver may notice the air conditioning was getting slightly weaker for days or weeks, but sometimes the final moment feels instant. Cold air one trip, warm air the next. On some cars, the compressor clutch may click on and off rapidly because pressure rises and falls too quickly. On others, the computer simply refuses to engage the compressor. A leak can come from hose crimps, service ports, the condenser, compressor shaft seal, evaporator, or O-rings. O-rings are small rubber seals that line connections. A common clue is oily residue around an air conditioning fitting because refrigerant oil can escape with the gas. A mechanic does not diagnose low refrigerant by guessing from vent temperature alone. They connect pressure gauges or a recovery and recharge machine, compare low side and high side pressures, and often inspect with ultraviolet dye or an electronic leak detector. If refrigerant leaked out, the real question is where it went. A compressor can also fail as a mechanical part, not just an electrical part. Inside the compressor are moving components that pump refrigerant. Depending on design, that may be pistons, a scroll, vanes, or a variable displacement mechanism. If the internal part seize, wear badly, or stop pumping, the air conditioning can quit suddenly. The clues are different. The driver may hear a harsh grinding, squealing, rattling, or a heavy clunk when air conditioning is turned on. The engine may stumble when the compressor tries to engage. The belt may squeal because the compressor is dragging too much. In severe cases, the clutch may engage, but the compressor cannot rotate correctly. Another version is more subtle. The compressor spins, but does not build proper pressure. In that case, the system is not electrically dead. It is mechanically ineffective. The air stays warm because the refrigerant is not being compressed enough to move heat. A mechanic checks whether the compressor is being commanded, whether the clutch engages, and what the pressure readings do after engagement. If the low side and high side do not separate properly, the compressor may not be pumping. If metal debris is found in the system, the repair can become more serious because debris may contaminate the condenser, expansion valve, or lines. A non-engaging compressor may be protected by the car because of low pressure. A noisy compressor may be mechanically damaged. A spinning compressor with bad pressure readings may be internally weak. The fourth failure mode is when the air conditioning system is physically able to work, but the control system blocks it. Modern cars do not always run the compressor directly from the dashboard button. The button sends a request. Then the climate control module, body control module, or engine computer checks conditions, refrigerant pressure, evaporator temperature, outside temperature, engine temperature, throttle demand, and sometimes fan operation. A pressure sensor tells the computer whether refrigerant pressure is safe. If the sensor falsely reports pressure too low or too high, the computer may shut the compressor off. A high-pressure switch or sensor protects the system when pressure becomes excessive, which can happen if condenser airflow is poor or a cooling fan is not working. An evaporator temperature sensor watches the cold core inside the dashboard. If it thinks the evaporator is freezing, the system may reduce or stop compressor operation. A blend door can also confuse the driver. A blend door is an air flap inside the heating and air conditioning box that mixes heated and cooled air. If the air conditioning system is cold but the blend door is stuck on heat, the vents may blow warm even while the refrigerant side is working. A mechanic checks sensor data with a scan tool. That matters because the car may tell the truth indirectly. Air conditioning request yes, compressor command no, pressure reading implausible, evaporator temperature unrealistic, or air conditioning inhibited. Sensor faults are where random parts replacement gets expensive fast. The system is mechanical, electrical, and software logic at the same time. A mechanic does not start with the most expensive part. First, is the cabin blower working? If no air comes from the vents, that is a blower motor, resistor, control, or power problem, not necessarily a refrigeration problem. Second, does the air conditioning request register? The button light is not enough. Third, does the compressor engage? On clutch-style compressors, the front clutch plate should pull in. On some modern variable compressors, engagement may not be visually obvious, so pressure readings and scan data become more important. Fourth, what do the pressures show? Fifth, does the condenser get airflow? If the cooling fan fails at idle, the air conditioning may be cold while driving but warm in traffic. Sixth, does sensor data make sense? The order can change by vehicle, but the principle stays the same. Prove command, prove power, prove pressure, prove airflow, then prove mechanical operation. Owners can safely confirm the blower works, check the air conditioning button, look for debris blocking the condenser, listen for a click under the hood, and inspect the correct fuse from the owner's manual. Do not open refrigerant lines. Do not vent refrigerant lines. Do not vent refrigerant. Do not press service port valves to see if there is gas. Refrigerant can cause frostbite, and the system is under pressure. Be careful with do-it-yourself recharge cans. A cheap hose gauge does not prove the system simply needs refrigerant. Overcharging can raise pressure and reduce cooling, and adding refrigerant without fixing a leak can hide the real failure. The same warm vent air can come from a fuse, a leak, a dead clutch coil, a seized compressor, a failed cooling fan, a blocked condenser, a bad pressure sensor, or a stuck blend door. The useful question is not, why is my air conditioning blowing warm? The useful question is, did the system lose the ability to move heat, or did the car refuse to let it try?